Welcome back to Anime Fight Club, everyone. My name is Grim. Today we're checking out Baki Gaiden, Yuenchi Amusement Park, Baki's Tales of the Strong. This is chapter 5 entitled Where the Dark Beasts Dwell. Now, this is super cool for the opening image to be Yujiro backhanding Yanagi's face off, which was just crazy. Look at the savagery in his eyes. I didn't see this in manga form. We're definitely going to go back through the original Hanma Baki or Grappler Baki manga, but until then, starting some of these side chapters. Chapter 1, third special section chief of police Nagashima Koichi's testimony. Huh? No, he's not dead. How is Yanagi Ryoko's current condition, you ask? If you see him, you'll understand the severity of his condition. It's exactly as you see. He's completely lost his energy. Every day he will only lie in his bed all day long. He does not even talk. But as you can see, he can't really talk because he's lost his lower jaw in a violent way. Hanma Yujiro did that to him in just a single attack. I guess he should be grateful that he's still alive. Yes, of course, he's been consuming liquid foods because he cannot bite anymore. Where do we keep him? In this special cell. What is it made of? It's just thick plastic. The thickness is about 20 centimeters. You cannot escape from it. Didn't he escape once by breaking it, you ask? Yes, he lost his right hand, but he still has his left hand. Back then he used a strong glass. This time it's just common plastic, so our materials are getting weaker. Eh? So? What are you trying to say? You think he can break it with his palm? No, he can't do it. That's true. I'm not worried about him escaping. All day long he only lies there, spacing out. I don't even know what he's thinking or what he's looking at. But sometimes he will look at me, his eyes are sparkling. It's like a blue flame of fury burning in his eyes, and it makes me feel uneasy. Yes, that's right. The last time he escaped, good officers lost their lives in the tragedy. His reason was because he wants to know what it is to be defeated. You know a lot, don't you? Huh? You ask if there was anything strange. You mean when Yanagi Ryoko was apprehended the first time? When he was caught? Did he experience defeat already? Indeed. As you said, there was someone who caught Yanagi Ryoko the first time. What was his name? Well, what was it? I think there are some officers that know his name. I can find it if I search for it, but I can't leave my post at the moment. But I know a little about him because I heard the story about him before. Yes. He was a man with a dark past and a personality as dark as the clothes he wore. His hair was black and long. It ran all the way down to his shoulders. His skin was also very dark and rough. No, he was not dark-skinned because of the sun. He was swarthy to begin with, but he was not African or had relatives of African ancestry. He is a young man, but I think he was still a teen back then. It happened about 5 years ago, but they caught him all right. After all, at that time, Yanagi was way more dangerous than he is right now. Even now, I don't want to be confronting Yanagi, even if I have a samurai sword or a gun with me. No, I'll never do it, so don't ask me to do it. I have no idea how a teenager was able to survive after facing him. He was Asian, and his skin was as dark as iron. It is obvious that his pupils were black, but even the glint in his eyes was black. His clothes were all black, his shirt was black, and the buttons that were buttoned all the way were black. His pants were deep black, his belt was black, his socks and his shoes were black. It's easy to assume that his underpants were also black. Even his breath was black. It is not too much to say that his voice and thoughts were pretty dark as well. And the blood underneath that skin might also be as black as oil. If you were ever to see Dark Soul, he must have been it. The man was walking slowly. It was the middle of the night. The location was a yard for decommissioned vehicles. Basically, in this place, they would disassemble the vehicles, throw away the unnecessary parts, split the iron and glass parts, and then sell them. During the day, you could hear a noisy sound of vehicles and customers pursuing for parts. But now, the only thing you can hear was the man's footsteps. There was one, maybe 2 streetlights apart from them was the moonlight. A car was stopped in front of the man. It was a functional vehicle, but it parked in between the piles of cars. Not for long, the headlights of the car were turned on. The strong light swallowed up the darkness. The man stopped walking. His eyes had gotten thinner, and he scanned his surroundings. Wow, he really came alone, the voice came from behind the headlight. 3 men came onto the scene. All of them were jacked and burly men. Since the place was not completely bright, you could not see the details of their muscles, but from their silhouettes you could definitely tell the 3 of them were taller than 6 feet. One of them might even be around 6'3". However, their height was not the problem. If we talk about height, we can find many people whose height is about 5'9". Even a 6'3" person is not rare anymore these days. Therefore, what was impressive and intimidating about these men was their muscles. The dark man could not see the light straightforwardly. He could only see the shadows of the men from their feet. But even so, it seems that he was able to tell that the 3 men had thick calves and thighs. You are Yume Kuga, aren't you? The same person who spoke earlier asked the man yes. The man named Yume Kuga nodded. As expected, even his voice was deep and dark. Yume, the man from Anki? We've heard rumors about you. What kind of rumors? That you're a dirty fighter. I suppose I could take that as a compliment, of course. The other 2 men started to walk forward with tight closed fists and surrounded Yume on the right and left sides. Mr. President told us that we are not supposed to kill you, said the man in the middle. He was the biggest one, but he also said that if you get killed, it can't be helped either. When you say Mr. President, are you referring to the goblin Kasuga? The man named Kuga Yume answered back with his black tone of voice. Yes, him. Why didn't Kasuga come with you? You came alone. Indeed. Besides, our boss might not be able to hold himself back. He might tear you apart. Shigiraya Kasuga. 10 years ago, he tore a policeman officer Hank Kamitsuki to 121 pieces with his bare hands. The dark man Kuga replied with a smile. So you know about it. Well then, we're ordered to take one of your ears to him. An ear? We don't care whether it's the right one or the left one. If we do it, we'll receive 20 financial shares of the Akata Syndicate's account. And what if you can't? Didn't you hear anything about what I said, Kuga? No, they just asked me to come here to deal with about 3 or 4 pro wrestlers from Gokudo, so they won't be able to participate in tomorrow's match. Damn, it's Kyokuto Pro Wrestling. Those chumps are at it again. The man was scratching his head with his thick fingers. At this point, the other 2 men had circled up and stood on Yume Kuga's right and left blind spots. Just give us one of your ears and you can go home safely. Do you want to do it yourself or do you want us to do it for you? You can do it for me, Crusher Ito. Oh, you know me, huh? The man grinned. The one on the left is Bomber Densuke, and the one on the right is Hedgehog Chitaro. Kuga Yume was piercing them with his black eyes. Bomber Densuke whistled. They were known as watchdogs. In pro wrestling gyms, there was a lot of cases where street fighters would go challenge and crush other people's gyms or dojos. People from other martial arts dojos like karate, kickboxing, judo, mixed martial arts, usually they were strong people who had not made a name for themselves yet, but wanted some quick fame. Therefore, they did it to advertise themselves. Most of them thought pro wrestling is a fixed game. Their body is big, but they're not as skillful as real fighters. They care more about spectacle than abilities. They thought that if they could beat pro wrestlers when they crashed their gym, their name would be well known. They would get a fighting career and their salary would go up. For that reason, they came to crush other people's gyms and dojos. However, most of these people didn't know the element of the martial arts training, as mentioned during the Sengoku warring period. They would crash in and say, "Hi, I would like to learn a thing or two." When they said this, they would have to prepare themselves to beat everyone in that dojo. No matter how polite their words were or how big their smile was, it did not matter. So what happened next? First, the master would assign the weakest member of the dojo to fight the man. If the man won, they would assign a stronger member than the first one. And if the man won again, they would assign even a stronger one. Eventually, the man would be exhausted. No matter how strong he might be, if he fought his opponents one after another, he would grow weary sooner or later. In the end, the grandmaster of the dojo would show up and teach him a hard lesson. He might crush his hand, break his wrist, or hit him with a wooden sword, leaving a scar for life. The defeated intruder would say, "Thank you so much. I've learned enough. Forgive me for the intrusion." But they would not accept such an excuse. Rather, they would torture him until they were satisfied. "What about this, huh? Are you learning enough?" The students would say sarcastically, even when the man wanted to leave the dojo. The others would not say something in the vein of, "You can't leave. Not yet. We're just getting started." They would force him to stand back up even if the man was severely injured, cried or begged for forgiveness. They would not listen to him or have any mercy on him. In the end, they would beat him to death and throw away the corpse somewhere convenient. Oh my goodness, to be continued. So this is what was happening during the Sengoku area. So they just bastardized it, and it's become, I don't know, like they don't kill him anymore if somebody breaks in or comes in and says they want to challenge the dojo. I don't know. This was kind of an odd story. They started off talking about Yanagi and his escape from the prison. Then we got Jume Kyuga. I believe this dude is from Kengan Ashura. Leave a comment below. I recognize the name. But this was something to go from Yanagi's escape to some Kengan Ashura characters about to fight to some history on the Sengoku era. I have a hard time with that. But anyway, leave a comment below on any thoughts you might have had throughout this video. Please hit the thumbs up, share with your fellow otaku. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you have, thank you very much. Please check the link in the description for the next video, as well as any playlists allowing you to catch up to the Baki universe and the Kengan Ashura universe. I hope you'll hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Hope to see you next video, and as always, otaku for life.